A very good evening to all of you. In this session, our main topic of discussion would be whom not to consult for UPSC. Now, students have been very anxious while they have been preparing for UPSC, not knowing about the syllabus, the right methodology, whom to talk to, what to discuss, what to get into account for. And this session is specifically dedicated for aspirants where they are not able to understand what is the right call for me, what I actually need to do, whom I need to approach when I'm preparing for UPSC, and what are the steps that are required to be successful for UPSC. Now, the most important step that we would understand is you can always consult those candidates who have been selected in UPSC, but only through direct contact. If you know them who are there in your friends and families, then definitely you can go and approach them. Otherwise, you would find most of those as either paid or biased approach which would be given. So even if you are looking for guidance from candidates who are selected, make sure you approach them personally. Amongst those who have at least qualified their means, have been part of the interview session, whom you know directly or indirectly, try to approach those from your college, from your universities, from your native place, in your family circle, someone else who has done that. You can approach them. You can get a constant motivation, and that's really really important when it comes to UPSC preparation. A constant motivation, a constant drive to help you move forward. But at the same time, be very particular that if you are going through the interviews of selected candidates, many of them are paid, are biased, and are rather advertisements. So just try to avoid that incorrect element of information which you are trying to derive. The next important thing is whenever you are preparing, a lot of students consider in-service personnels, listening to in-service personnels as a good option. Definitely, they do have their experiences to share, but when it comes to UPSC, the paper pattern is extremely dynamic. We have seen many of the selected candidates, qualified candidates, when they have kids, they approach back or contact others for guidance for their kids. Now, if in service personals are also connecting back for guidance for their kids, that means you understand well where is the right element where you need to discuss. They are good in the sense that, again, I repeat the same thing, if they are in your friends and family, they can give you constant motivation, they can tell you how the life is, how the things are. But if you ask them 20 years back, 30 years back, how did they qualify UPSC, the things have become extremely dynamic. Even the paper pattern is highly dynamic year to year. So let's say last year if science and tech was the dominant section, probably this year economics can be a dominant section, and therefore it's very very difficult to understand. So even if you are listening to the views of bureaucrats, to the views of in-service personals, you have to be very sure what exactly you are trying to take from that message, because as I mentioned again and again, the paper pattern is extremely dynamic. Those who have qualified 10 years back, 20 years back can only tell you how the service is presently, or how their bureaucratic life was. So that is something that definitely you can derive, but that knowledge won't help you to get qualified for UPSC. So what you need to do now, whom to consult, what to do. So the best thing is, if you are in a college, any of your seniors who are preparing for UPSC, any of those who have qualified means interview or are appearing for interview, those people are definitely a good asset to you. They can tell you, they can mentor you about the good sources. The only thing you need is right source, what to read from where. once you get hold of that source, the only next thing which is important is hard work and constant work. So keep working constantly and keep working hard, and there is no reason you won't be able to qualify it. The only thing I say this is, because once you are working hard, you know your strengths and weaknesses. You also are trying to understand that what to study and where to study. So it's ultimately everything is there. All the knowledge is in the books. Let's say you feel that you are weak in answer writing. So you already know your weak point, that is answer writing. So practice that. If you feel that for prelims you are weak in CSAT paper 2, and even if you are very good at GS, you are unable to qualify because you lag behind with the CSAT paper 2, in that case focus on CSAT paper 2. But again, these are the strengths and weaknesses are just meant to identify where you have to work. Now once you have identified, what is the next best thing is work hard, and that's the only secret to success. No other secret to success lies when it comes to UPSC preparation or any other competitive examination. Refer standard text, that's really important. Then refer current affairs. All contemporary happenings should be on your tips. Also, the most important thing is answer writing. How you express your views, your way of explaining your views, your way of expressing yourself is extremely important, and putting the thoughts. They should not be extremely revolutionary in nature, no. They should be not either biased and revolutionary. I would say both of those are not a good way of expressing your answers for mains answer writing. And then also focus on past papers. Now past papers are not a good way to understand, but understand exact content. As I said, the paper pattern is dynamic, but they help you give a slight idea what things you need to study. So let's see what kind of questions comes from science and technology, what depth is there in prelims, what depth is there in mains. So if you go through the past papers, you would understand prelims is highly extensive in nature. A lot of questions from varied aspects are asked in prelims. However, on the mains other hand is intensive. You know the paper pattern and you would be able to answer those in relatively easier and smoother mode, because you know the kind of questions that would come for your mains examination. So those are some of the key things that we have discussed. To summarize again, the gist is you can constantly refer friends and families, those who have qualified only through the means of friends and families, through your colleagues, through your college peer group, through your networking. That's totally fine if you are able to get hold of someone who can mentor you one-on-one, who can tell you the right references one-on-one. That's the best thing. Otherwise, there can be biased opinions, there can be paid promotions, there can be advertisements. So keep a look onto it, keep an eye onto it, that you are not diverted to incorrect sources. And also in-service personals would tell you how their life was when they were a bureaucrat or when they were an administrator, but what they had prepared 20 years back, 30 years back, the things have changed so drastically. The paper patterns rather have changed over the years. So those won't be the right way where you can actually get guidance into. But yes, if they, again, the in-service personals, you can get through your friends and families. They are a good source of constant motivation. They help you in the way that they provide you a motivation, a target that helps you to follow the path, to follow your preparation and ultimately achieve your goal. So this was about the discussion. We would be meeting Tuesdays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. live. If you have any doubts, any questions, feel free to connect back. And in the next session, we would be discussing about dummy schools, a new trend in most of the cities across India. What are these dummy schools, and are you playing with your child's future by enrolling them in dummy school? So that would be the topic of discussion for our next session on In the meanwhile, we do have our videos coming live every day in the evening 7:30. NCRT series 6 to 10th is already completed. 11th and 12th is in development. So tomorrow we have another NCRT economics lecture which would be coming live, which would be coming. So just stay tuned. And in case if you have any questions, any queries, feel free to connect back to us at admin@examrace.com or reach us on 999-800-8851. We'll be more than happy to address your doubts and queries. Wish you very good luck for your preparation. Have a wonderful evening ahead.